Chris, what's up, buddy?
Good morning, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, bro.
Had a long week, huh?
Hold on. What'd you say, bro?
Said you had a long week, huh?
Yeah, long week.
So, you had a big game last night.
Oh, what you talking about?
Derrick Rose.
Yeah,
Great game.
he did. He went crazy.
Couldn't
Yeah,
pull it off though, but oh well.
yeah.
But
I mean, it's good to just look for the Knicks to even be doing as good as they doing.
oh yeah. I mean, we're playing on house money right now, so I'm very happy with whatever they're doing. So we'll see. I'm fully confident, and it's nice to have that confidence in your team that no matter what, you feel like they're absolutely going to win the next game. Like the fact that it was that close and Julius Randle was so off all game, that just gives me confidence.
Yeah.
What's up, Matei? How are you, buddy?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. It looks
What up,
like.
say with us?
What was that, Chris?
Oh, I just said, what's up, Matei?
Oh,
Hello, Chris. How you
What's
doing?
up, man? Good. How you doing?
Great, man. Perfect.
it's good to have you back in the groove.
Yep. The Knicks lost.
Thanks.
It was tragic.
I know. Yeah, it was a tough game, but like I was just saying to Chris, like it's awesome to have that confidence in your team that no matter what that they're probably going to win the next game. Like I'm not used to having that confidence either in the Knicks or any of my teams. Besides like the Yankees, but the Yankees, I don't pay attention to baseball as much, but it is nice having that feeling that Julius Randle was so off, and it was still that close. So we'll see what we got the next game. But over here on GJ, it looks like we are playing out pretty much how we said we would last night. Kind of dirty range over here, so it was kind of messy over here as well. But I did figure that if we did close below this area over here, we would retest at some point and then continue right back down to maybe retest these lows. But I don't see price going anywhere further from these lows over here. I think we could hold the support, but if we don't, because fundamentals on GJ all bullish, but if we don't hold the support, this is going to be a critical area because you got a nice clean move to the left. All you got to do is wait for this retest down here and a break of this bullish structure, retest, and then take this right back down. So we could be coming down to this area right here to fill these wicks. We got about 34 pips right in there that you can play with. So we shall see if price does close below that area. But looking at the higher time frames, looks like this current daily candle is pretty bearish. We created a top wick over here and then passed the low of this candle coming down. And we're probably going to tap the support. It fully looks like we will. Forming this resistance over here. We couldn't quite tap 155, not yet at least. But if we form some kind of a support over here, don't be surprised if we come up and retest 155. But we are respecting this bullish structure over here after this major consolidation. We've just been pushing up from there. Now we just got to retest that area one more time and then possibly head right back up. But we're going based off what we see, not what we think. So if we do get that break over here, got a nice clean move to the left that we could be retesting. We can also, that area, these wicks are also these candle body closes over here to the left. So could we be, get rid of this right over here? Could we be retesting this area right over here, forming support here, and then continuing up? Previous candle body closes. But it looks like this is the main support over here based on these candle wick rejections. So we shall see what we get. But keep in mind, not so much for the pound, but let's look at some fundamentals. You got a bank holiday today. You get the Euro, France, and Germany. Both have a bank holiday as well as the CAD. But today, Kuroda is speaking as well as what's it called, Bailey. So we'll see if we get any kind of movement over here. I'm not looking. I'm completely content not trading over here. This isn't a big enough range for me to take any kind of sells. Plus, I'm bullish on GJ. I took a buy on gold last night, but I got about 10 pips secured, stop loss at break even. But other than that, I don't see anything really happening just because of the bank holidays right now, and it's Monday. So I'm completely content not taking any trades and just kind of looking over, glossing over what's happening over here. But the thing is, with gold, it's messy, especially on the higher time frames over here, but we are bullish. We are forming a higher support over here, right? So are we doing over here what we did over here, right? It looks very similar. If you take a look, let's break these candles down. If you look at this candle right over here, it's a little similar to this one right here. So price comes up, creates this high up here, right? Same thing right over here. This candle retraces the entire candle, right? Passes the low. This candle did the same exact thing, passed the low. And then the next candle formed a support with no bottom wick. This candle barely had a bottom wick, but it did. And now it's starting to push up. So are we going to get like a solid bullish close around here? We get a doji, something like this. Right? And then the next bullish candle possibly coming right back down here. And then continuing right back up to retest these highs up here and create a new higher high. But at the same time, do you want to trade in this? It's the higher time frames. Obviously, there's some opportunities on the lower time frames, which is what I marked off. But that's what I was looking at on the 4 hour. It's a new higher low. We are respecting this bullish structure right over here. So I don't want to take any sells above this bullish structure right here. I need price to break. I need a major support to break, like maybe over here. For this support to break to take any kind of sells, or maybe this support. But right now, looks like price is struggling to come up. You have this consolidation over here to the left, but you got a resistance. You can see it better on the 30-minute. Got a resistance over here that price is holding. You could possibly take a buy once we break above 1882. Actually, we'll call it 1883 right here. Safe buys once we break above that that area right there. But you do have this resistance over here to the left. So you got about maybe 41 pips right over here to retest these candle body highs, these wicks. I see price doing something like this. Knowing gold, we could be holding this resistance here, starting to come down, printing a higher low, and then continuing up. Maybe consolidating in here a little bit, breaking above, and then something like this. So I'm actually going to take a screenshot of this and see what we get. It's always good to play a little, guessing game with yourself, especially if, you're not going to be trading. You don't need to be placing a trade, but you can, you're not going to trade this, but you can guess where price is going to go based on what you've seen, and it's going to develop confidence for yourself. So you take a little screenshot, throw it in your journal. Yep. This is my win from last night. This was a gold buy over here. This is the multi-time frame, and I was basically going off of what I've seen in the past. You had that clean move to the left over here. Actually, let's bring this out for you. There you go. Clean move to the left over here. You had the support holding. Beautiful setup over here to open the market. Actually, no, this wasn't it. I want to see this. Where was price? Here we go. So none of this happened before. Over here. Yeah, this wasn't anything yet, right? You just had a perfect support over here forming. You had the clean move to the left over here. So a nice bullish candle forming over here. And this is kind of how the market closed. So you can anticipate price to continue right back up and mirror this move to the left. So what I was doing was I found a support formed, believe right around here. This support, it was holding support, previous resistance over here, but let's take a look at the journal just so that we get the correct thing right over here. So actually it was a little bit later. We created this resistance over here, right? And then we started heading up. So the 15-minute we look like I was right here. This is the move that I had. We formed the support right over here. Beautiful. I think I took this impulse entry. Price shot up 10 pips. Secured 80%. Stop loss at break even. Anticipating for this resistance to be retested up here. And then obviously stopped at a break even. Price continued down. So it actually looks like this candle is flipping bullish on the 15-minute. I almost just ended the stream by accident. But yeah, this is it basically broken down. You had the support over here. I don't know why I didn't just show you this before. Stop loss below this wick. This is the 15-minute time frame. Impulse entry as it passed the high of this bearish candle. We got a little retracement over here. I'm not going to let the 5-minute kind of scare me out of closing this, just based on the fact that this candle had no top wick over here. So I was contemplating closing half, but there was no reason to. I trusted my analysis, and price was a couple pips in profit. This candle created a bottom wick and then flipped bullish. This is what the 5-minute looked like I said. And then this candle ended up passing the low over here. I'm not going to close 50 because the 5-minute passed the low of the previous 5-minute. If I took this based on the 15 and the 30-minute, I'm not going to let that, take me out. So ended up flipping bullish, passing the high of this candle, grabbing 10 pips, stop loss that moved up actually. And then I ended up just moving into break even. Stopped at break even. So we I just have to journal that. I'll throw that in the group Trello. It looks like gold right here is flipping bullish, but I don't want to take anything until price closes above this resistance over here. You see all these rejections? You got a clean move to the left over here that if we close above this area, I think we could definitely retest these highs. These candle body highs over here to the left and continue heading up. Damn, it's the 24th already. So Chris, if you can talk to me, so where do you feel like you're at right now? Do you feel rusty a little bit? Do you feel, you put in some work over the weekend, so maybe you feel a little bit better? Maybe you can't talk. I was saying, how do you feel right now? Like where you're trading at, where you are personally? Like, do you feel, kind of back in the groove? Do you feel a little rusty? Do you feel rusty with your trading? Just give me a little synopsis of where you're at so we could catch up and I could get you right back into the rhythm. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I forgot you were in that same trade. So what, you just secured at 8 pips? Is that what happened? Nice. Yeah, man, it's all about resilience. You kind of fall off track a little bit. Obviously, daddy duty. You gotta spend some time with the family and everything. And like we were talking about last night, which is awesome, is you get those little periods where you can enjoy your family and maybe go on vacation, something like that. But uh, I don't know about you guys, but that makes me 10 times more hungry to just. It's a little taste of what you're going to be seeing and what you're going to be getting once you get those results. That those periods are very needed. But when I'm on vacation and that vacation's wrapping up, I cannot wait to get back home and get some work in to make that like a permanent thing where you have the choice to do that whenever you'd like. It's
Agree with that.
yeah, right. It's that's why I always say
Absolutely.
that's why I always say having that play account. It's so important because you put away 5, maybe even 10% of any kind of income that you get, 5-10% into a play account, and that play account by the end of the month needs to be blown. Like you use it on one night that you get a kind of taste of where you're going to be going down the road, and you can't let that account drag into carry over into the next month. You just need to blow the whole thing. It's just 5%, maybe even 10% of your income. I would say make it 5. And every single month, that 5%, it's going to get a little bit bigger, right? So you're going to be able to spend a little bit more every single time, but you need that taste, and especially Chris, spending time with your family and everything. That's so important to be able to do and kind of re-energize yourself to get back to what you were doing. Gio, what's up, buddy?
Hey guys, good morning.
How are you?
Hello there.
Doing great. How are you guys?
Good, man. Missed you yesterday.
Yeah, I was busy. I was doing something. I was actually, I might not be able to trade. I mean, tomorrow. So I'll be flying tomorrow to Texas.
Wait, what?
I'll be flying for business travel to Texas tomorrow. So I won't be back until Sunday.
Okay. I thought you said you were moving to Texas.
I wish.
That
Well, you know, I don't know what will happen after October. They're trying to recall Governor Newsom.
Yeah, I see that. Did you see what Netflix did?
Oh, the nation,
What was that?
the nation, $3 million.
Oh yeah, donation. Yeah, 3 million. And
Yep.
he has an unlimited amount of revenue or whatever you want to call it, unlimited amount of donations that he can incur for this recall effort, and the other side has a limited amount. Like you can't spend that much or something like that. This is just what I read. But
Silicon Valley is supporting him all the way. So,
oh yeah,
I mean,
of course. Too many crooked politicians, man. Gotta get them out. That's why I like Project Veritas so much. He goes after both sides.
Are you guys looking at the trend line on GJ?
GU?
GJ.
Oh, GJ. Yeah. So I broke GJ down before. Obviously, we had this consolidation. We were in this all throughout March, right? Creating this new high, kind of coming down, consolidating a little bit, and then coming up finally, retesting that high. So right now, we're in this consolidation over here, and we didn't quite tap 155 up here. But right now, we're in this consolidation again, kind of like a little head and shoulders, if you will. But right now, I don't want to take anything in here. First of all, you got bank holidays in Germany, France, Canada. So it's also Monday. It's a slower day. So I'm completely content not taking anything, especially on GJ over here. Anything in here. It does look like price is going to come down and retest these lows like we broke down yesterday on the breakdown. But I don't want to take any sells on GJ until we break and close below 153,500. Retest this area. You have about a 36, 35 pip range to fill this wick and come right back down. It actually looks a little bit better on the lower time frames over here. To fill this wick right down here and then continue down. But I do think that price is going to hold a support potentially over here as we're printing higher lows, right? Price is gradually on its way up. All it needs is some volume and a support formed, and price will come right back up to retest these highs. But I think safe buys are going to be above 154, I don't know, 150 to then continue right back up, fill this area over here, fill this wick, and continue right back up to 155. But again, I'm just being cautious on GJ over here. I already took a trade last night on gold. So this is a little messy in here. You looking at anything?
I see. Okay. Well, I just have a trend line on the 1 hour time frame,
Okay.
or even a 30-minute. Like I'm just waiting for a support to be formed. Well, I have it the other way. I have it more. I think. See if I can annotate here.
Like this?
How do yeah.
Yep. No, that definitely makes sense. So
So
we'll
if I have a book, yeah, if I probably I'll wait for a 1 hour candle, a bullish candle, like an engulfing candle on the 1 hour.
And then you would take that, or would you wait for this resistance to break?
I'd probably take it since there is about what 18 pips away from the resistance.
Got about actually 28.
I mean, I break from the current candle, like the high of the current candle.
Right here?
Let's say this candle will show me a rejection candle, like a weak bearish candle, and the next one will break it.
Form support. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. No, I definitely see what you're talking about over here. I just honestly, being in this range over here, this range over here as well, this whole area is just kind of too messy for me, especially on a Monday. And you only want to take trades that you're like 90% sure are going to play out. It's that's so important. The other ones just live back test them, and you're going to see some good results with that. But yeah, I'm just waiting for this resistance to probably break and take this up. But I do see what you're talking about. That could end up being like some kind of a swing. If you take it from down here all the way up here, be a nice intraday trade. Wider stop loss, or take a scalp and then take another trade with dynamic risk with a wider stop loss and anticipate that to continue climbing. Over here on gold, we're having some issues over here in this resistance over here. So I don't want to take any kind of buys until we close above this resistance. But yeah, gold is another one kind of holding the support over here. Let's see what we got over here. Oh shit, look at this. Moscow is putting together an agenda for a potential future Putin and Biden meeting. That'd be interesting. U.S. core inflation. Let's see. Hey, what? It's just one question. Damn, they rerouted this plane just to get this one guy. I guess he's Russian. Belarus ordered to land and arrested journalists on board. Wow. That's pretty crazy. It was clear for the emergency. The emergency was all staged and there was no bomb threat, which is what the flight attendants told panicked passengers. Most people on the plane were Lithuanians like him who also speak Russian.
Was that the guy who talked shit about Putin?
No, that one guy that they poisoned.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this guy's a journalist. This guy. He's a critic of Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko. Wanted terrorists in Belarus. Oh my God.
Did you guys watch the playoffs yesterday?
Unfortunately. Yeah,
Trae Young.
yeah, Trae Young was he's a beast. He's so weird looking.
Have you guys seen that that photo that the baby the diaper model thing?
No,
He literally looks like him.
Yeah, I saw it. It's
I didn't see
hilarious.
it. Wait, so
Let me
what?
see
What
if
is?
I can. Let me see if I can pull that.
Yeah, send it in here, dude. He needs some Rogaine or something. That hair, that is something else.
Let me send it to you in Slack.
No,
Dude, like
wow. Is that Giovanni? That's crazy. That's insane. Yeah, that looks just like him. But did they show that during the game or something, or was that like something going viral?
No, I just saw it on I think Instagram where I saw it.
That's insane. I gotta save that. Looks like Alan sent me a message. Yeah, Alan won't be trading tonight. Let's see. This was our breakdown yesterday. The breakdown is in the database if you guys want to watch it. I know Matei was already on the call, but it's a nice little breakdown of all the charts. See EJ over here. EJ, we were saying EJ broke a trend over here that we've been in since at end of April. So about a month we've been respecting this bullish trend over here, creating highs, coming down, creating a new support, retesting that trend. Well, this low formed the trend. And then we created a new higher high, comes down, creates a support, does the same exact thing, retest the high, continues to respect it. And then at the end of the week last week, we ended up breaking that trend line, coming up, retesting it over here, and then continuing right back down to this previous support over here. But we failed to break this higher time frame support, right? So right over here, are we just continuing up, or are we going to retest on the higher time frames, like the 4-hour over here, retest this trend line, form a resistance, and then continue right back down to retest these lows and then continue down. But fundamentally, I don't see that happening. I see us holding the support over here, maybe consolidating in here and then dropping. But we got to get some negative fundamental data coming out that is going to move the euro. Let's take a look at our indices. Japanese currency index. So the Japanese currency index obviously is very bearish, but right now we're creating higher lows over here. That new low we created came up, retested that bearish trend, and then we started consolidating in here, printing a new higher low. So are we going to just retest this area over here and then continue down? Continue down to retest this low and continue down from there. Maybe retest this area again and then continue down. Or are we holding support over here, breaking the bearish trend, breaking above this resistance, and then continuing up? If that's the case, maybe then you'll see EJ started to consolidate over here and then drop. Or same thing with GJ over here, where GJ is kind of finding its resistance over here and then continuing down. But we need to, like Gio was saying, we need to break this trend line. We need to break this one as well in order for me to take any kind of sells. Let's see, that's the Japanese currency index. Yield is at 164. UK 100 still respecting a bullish trend. Gio, did you watch the games last night?
I just saw the recap.
True. Dude, the Garden was going nuts. I haven't seen it like that in a long time. And it was crazy. It was packed. So weird to see. US dollar index continuing to drop, still below 90. It is holding us support over here. It's a nice healthy support here. Let's see, 30-minute. Yeah, we're tapping into this area over here. So I could, like I said, I could see us holding this support or this resistance right here, coming down to retest this this low, this trend line over here, form a higher low, and then continue right back up, kind of consolidate in here, and then break up. Maybe during New York Stock Exchange open, 7:07 right now. So let's see where we're at over here. Well, you know what? Let's see. US 30 is kind of consolidating over here. It's failing to break above these levels. Putting lower lows, lower highs. Actually, not lower lows, but lower highs over here. But just kind of consolidating. Let's redraw this stuff. Just gonna journal this trade from last night real quick, and I'll throw this in the group journal. You looking at anything else, Gio?
No, I'm just waiting for GJ. I want to see a huge rejection on this trend line.
Yep. That'll give you some confidence. Pushing 10 pips in profits. Mateo, I loved your London breakdowns, by the way.
Thank you. I just did the breakdowns, then I had to go to school, so
Love it.
yeah. Slow session.
Yes, sir. May 23rd through May. Yeah, you guys had that bank holiday, so it's
Yep. I mean, Monday London session is slow anyway, usually, so there is no expectations for anything on Monday.
oh yeah, 100%. I mean, sometimes you do get some moves, and even on Sundays as well. But you know, more times than not, it's you're not going to get as many opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
So, James, what's up, my man?
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good,
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you. Did you take any trades yet?
Just last night. Nothing today. Nothing's presenting itself. It looks like gold is holding this resistance over here. Just waiting for a break above this area. Based on the higher time frames, especially the 4-hour, I was just pointing out how similar these two setups look. With this candle right here, bullish candle creating a new high up here, then this candle just engulfing it right over here. This candle had no bottom wick, and then you got a following bullish candle over here, and price is pushing up. So over here, this candle kind of looks like this one. This candle looks pretty similar to this one, and then this candle kind of looks like this one as well. Barely any bottom wick over here on these candles. Same size bottom wick over here as well. So are we going to form like some kind of a doji? I was drawing it before right over here in this area. And then the next one passes the high of that one and then ends up creating a new high up here. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. But I'm waiting for this resistance to be broken. Right, you got about a 40 pip range to these candle wicks up here to the left. And then eventually, if we come up to that area, I believe that we should come up to 1889, 1890. Continue bullish, especially with the fundamentals.
How was your trade last night?
It was good. Just grabbed 10 pips on gold. What's it called? Let's see. Multi-time frame. Obviously, you got the clean candle to the left. I was looking for a support to form at 1884 over here, which it did. Ended up taking an impulse entry as we passed the high of the previous bearish wick on the 15-minute. This is the entry. The 15-minute ended up closing with no top wick. I didn't close anything or anything like that. I wasn't going to let that kind of affect the trade unless we started coming into drawdown a little bit. Then maybe I would have closed 50 of it. But price just ended up creating a bottom wick over here a little bit and then just pushing up. 5-minute over here past the low of the previous 5-minute. I didn't close anything. I just let it go. If we started coming into this area, I probably would have closed 50. We ended up pushing 10 pips, stop loss at break even, moved my stop loss up above this candle right here, and then ended up moving it to break even. And I shortly got stopped out about at like 10:30, a little bit before that, like 10:15.
Nice, I like it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I thought, 1890 was going to get hit last night if we just continued up, move my stop loss to break even. If it hit, that was fine. But if we held support over here, something like right over here, then I would have been happy and we could have continued bullish. But it's all good. I secured a good amount.
Yeah.
I know Chris took a similar trade as well. Let's take a look at this.
This is my last. You're right about the manipulation. That candle came out of nowhere. I
Yeah.
looked at the news and everything. I couldn't find why there was a 30 pip candle just dropped like that.
Liquidity. Banks just getting in, wanting to grab a better price. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, like I was up 12 pips and I didn't put it to break even. You know, I thought it was going to go a bit higher.
Yeah.
Maybe to the resistance that I have up there
Mhm.
before I put to break even, but then it just flew down.
I like what you did. I think you would have secured at this area right here, right?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to do.
Cool. Let me change that. Yeah, that's a tough one. Now you could have probably re-entered after that bullish candle close.
I was annoyed, so I was like, I'm not touching it.
I mean, yeah, that's smart. You were comfortable. Like, you know what? That took me out. I'm not happy about it, but what like percentage do you risk on that?
I did like 2%.
Okay. Now keep in mind, like, you got to see how often this happens on EU. If you're
Yeah.
gonna be swinging this and everything, just see, at this time on a Sunday, how many times do we get this liquidity grab before continuing in the direction that candles look like they're heading? We're respecting that bullish trend, like you pointed out. How often do you get that liquidity grab and price continues out? Because maybe at this time, wherever this candle closed bullish over here is where you're going to want to, enter this next time, because you see the next opportunity that you had to take this out.
Yeah.
Where is it now? Is this live?
Yeah, that was just there.
Got it. Yeah. So also keep in mind you had, I mean, not yesterday, but yesterday was Sunday, but also today is the a Euro holiday. I don't know,
Okay.
what holiday is it actually?
There's no holiday here.
What was that?
There's no holiday in Ireland anyway. That's not till next weekend.
French bank holiday for
Yeah, next
Whit
Monday, I think we have one.
What's Whit Monday?
Hmm?
This holiday right here. Do you guys know?
I never heard of it.
Whit holiday is the same thing with Germany. Yeah, Whit Monday.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And then CAD has Victoria Day.
When's the American holiday? There's one in May, isn't there?
An American holiday in May.
Yeah, it's a weekend.
Oh, Memorial Day. That's next weekend.
That's next weekend, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. We got Memorial Day next weekend.
Yeah, because I remember in the country clubs, all their families used to come just for those 3 days.
Yeah. I mean, Memorial Day is kind of the kickoff of summer. It's like, all right, we're here getting some nice weather. This weekend, honestly, could have been Memorial Day because we had beautiful weather this week.
Yeah. Were you out a lot? Were you outside a lot this weekend?
Yeah, I did a long bike ride Saturday. It was a good one out to Sandy Hook. I pointed out what Sandy Hook is, right?
No.
I think I have.
Oh, no, you did.
I'll show you guys.
I see you got like 10, so I was wondering.
Yeah, well, not really 10. I got burnt, but this turns to 10. So
yeah, I'll turn to 10 eventually.
Let's see, Google, our favorite app. Our favorite website when we got bank holidays. Let's see where we left off last time. It normally shows us.
Also, it's a Canadian bank holiday, so I was
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, we were looking at Colombia for Giovanni. This is such a cool website. I love it. So this is Jersey over here in this whole area, but this is where I live down here, and I live right in here, right? So taking this up Ocean Avenue all the way up here, all the way through here, all the way to the tip of this island over here, Sandy Hook. Used to be a military base, Fort Hancock, back in the 1700s. And it was basically made to protect. There's one here and one here. There's cannons over here as well, but this is basically to protect the coast of New York. So any kind of ships coming into New York, just basically fire cannons off. It's built for a couple different wars, Civil War as well, but yeah, to the tip of this and back to my place is 22 miles. So it's a solid ride. Nice for a nice day. But it's always a good route.
Was it 22 miles back, there and back, is it?
There and back is 22 miles.
It's all footpath.
All what?
All footpath, like paving.
Oh yeah, they got a bike path that goes all the way to the tip of this.
That's-
But like this whole thing is 5 miles. So there and back is 10 miles over here. Let me see if I can point this out. See these houses over here?
Yep.
This used to be a military base, so these were all like officer housings right on Sandy Hook Bay. Just kind of overlooking the water. It's pretty crazy. These were built a long ass time ago. These are like brick. See these? You got
Nice.
the base over here. And they got these barracks. Here it is. See this is like a fort. Built
That's
back
cool.
in during World War One. Yeah, it's crazy. Me and back in high school, I think it was, we would go into these at night, and these things are like. Let me see if we can put these this year. Yeah, there you go. See how creepy these things look? Oh, look, we got a friend.
That's you.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going in here at night is not pleasant, but we were crazy, so. But yeah, it's Sandy Hook. It's a pretty cool spot. And then there's like an overlook thing that you could see Manhattan from here. Dude, the world is a crazy place. It's cool. My computer's touchscreen, so it's like turning a globe here.
This is the best website.
Oh, I know. Could sit on this all day long.
Yeah, you just find a random island and you look at the beach. It's perfect.
Dude, look at all these islands in Greece. Like, do people live on each individual island? Damn. Yeah.
That's big.
That's crazy. Naxos. Yeah, each island has its own like ecosystem and that's beautiful over there. Let's see our charts. Yeah. Gold is kind of holding this resistance over here. I do think we're gonna find some kind of a support over here and then take this up. I'm not gonna trade in here. I'm waiting for this break of resistance. So let's label this.
I was looking at Instagram, and you
Yeah.
know Rocks FX.
Who?
Rocks FX.
No.
He's known for he's like 187,000 followers or something. But he took a trade in gold this morning. It's interesting. If you go down to the 15 minutes, and he took it where all the wick rejections are there. You see,
Right here?
not the one before that.
Right here?
Yeah, he took it there.
And he grabbed this candle, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Nice.
he has a different kind of way of trading completely to everyone else.
What how does he trade?
It's mainly just like a push up, kind of double top, wick rejections, and he takes that down. It's all naked charts, like
Double chart, double tap.
yeah, and then a retest with all those wick rejections, and then taking it down.
You got the previous support over here as well.
He puts it all on Instagram, so it's interesting how he does all his breakdowns.
That's awesome. Yeah, send them to me.
And he's all like 1 to 3 risk to reward and all that.
Cool. Yeah, it's typically what you want. 1 to 3, 1 to 4.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times we get 1 to 1, which is fine, but
Is this maybe a fundamental move? Or
What
is
was
it pure technicals, this move on gold?
this
Were there fundamentals involved and news?
yeah, I think no, I think price is just kind of coming down. Like it looks like this 15-minute candle closed a no bottom wick. So maybe we could hold support in this area over here, previous wick rejections. Hold support and then continue up, but I do think maybe we continue down to retest this area somehow and then continue up. Kind of like what I drew over here. I should know. James. I drew a little prediction right here. So we'll see if this is kind of what we get. But I am bullish on gold.
I was watching all those videos on the guy on YouTube that you said to watch.
Mm.
He's interesting. The Tom is his name, or
Trevor?
what's his name? Yeah, the fellow with the bald head.
Trevor Neal. Yep.
Yeah, how he went down about professional trading and all that. His talks are really interesting. He really engages with the person watching it, and he's funny too. Like,
Yeah, he's got a great personality. He's a nice guy, it seems.
and it's mad how he spent 10 years just observing traders before he actually was allowed to trade.
That's kind of like you guys ever read Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah, I did.
So you know, like Napoleon Hill, how he kind of basically observed all these people that he kind of admired and wrote this book that was kind of the first style book that did something like that. And then Tony Robbins went on to write the money book. What's that book called? I've read it before. Tony Robbins Money. Master the Game.
Master the game.
Yeah. Yeah, this book. So he basically does the same thing. He interviews all these different people. Ray Dalio, all these guys that he kind of admires. Wow, this book's only $3 on eBay. That's crazy. But yeah, this is a good book. But there's been many books like that. But yeah, that was kind of Trevor Neal's style. There's a couple other videos if you guys want them. I've been really watching a lot of these. And actually, you know what? You guys should definitely. Hold on. I'm going to send these both to you.
Yep.
You're going to like this one. This guy is harsh, but I like it. I like his style. Okay, check out the videos that I sent in. We can actually watch one right now. Dude, this is great. This would be good to watch right now for you guys. Put this on in the background.
When I was young, I grew up in a fairly strict house, always knowing right from wrong, and for the most part, always been able to decipher what I should or should not be doing. And now that I'm a parent, I realize that having and enforcing a set of rules is an extremely important part to an orderly and functional household. And any trader that wants to make it to the long haul must also have a strict set of rules and make sure we stick to them. Because at the end of the day, what good are rules, even if we break them,
Can you guys hear this?
3 times a year? There's nothing worse to me personally than taking a loss in the market that can wipe out weeks or maybe even months of trading. You feel like the last several weeks or months got simply flushed down the toilet. You spend day in, day out grinding out wins, grinding out trades, only to have everything, be wiped out. It can be mentally demoralizing and very hard to get your mind back on reset. It's the financial part of the loss that hurts the most, but the mental and emotional part can be just as bad, because if you're not trading with a free and clear mind, you may as well go home. That's how even some great traders can get caught up in a vicious cycle. Once the losses start, they almost don't know how to get themselves out of it. That's why I think it's so important to try to stick to your rules and limit your losses. One of the great benefits of being a trader is that we're our own boss. We work from home, and for the most part, we answer to nobody. It's really everybody's dream job. But, on the flip side, there's nobody there to hold us accountable. So let's say we all were to work for a company. It doesn't matter whether it's big or small. And 2 to 3 times a year, we bend the rules. Or 2 to 3 times a year, we just make that same mistake over and over again. And we cost this company tens of thousands or possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars. What would that company say to you? Most likely you'd be out of a job. That's why it's so important, as self-employed individuals, traders, we hold ourselves accountable for our actions. Now, as a trader, I realize the most important thing I can do on a daily basis is preserve my capital. Taking excessive risk, taking on marginal trades, or adding to losing trades is an easy way for losses to add up. Sometimes as traders, we're always focusing on the next big setup. How much are we going to make on DERI? How much are we going to make on this? How much did I make last week or last month? But how often we focus on what we're doing poorly? How often we focus on our losses? I think our losses can be a great tool to help us create some rules. I think our losses, can help us study and say, hey, this is what I don't want to do again. This is what I don't want to do in the future. The thing about trading, it's a very tough profession. I think the stats are something like 90 to 95% of traders fail. And why do they fail? They don't fail because of a lack of winning setups or lack of wins. They fail because of their losses. They fail because they just take too many losses too frequently, or just that one big loss. That's the thing. In the market, one loss can wipe you out in your career. That's where a good set of rules can either make you or break you for the long haul. Now, trading can be a difficult profession. For that, we sit in front of our computers all day long, and we feel unproductive if we're not always in a trade or pushing buttons. We follow traders on Twitter who tweet a new idea or ticker every 35 seconds, and we say, hey, that guy trades 80 to 90 tickers a day. I need to do the same thing. No, I think that's BS. I think you should not do the same thing. I think you need to stick with your high probability setups, the setups you're going to be profitable on. I'd say at least 75, 80, hopefully 90% of the time. Now, sometimes it can be hard to sit on your hands and be patient, wait for those setups. But why chase subpar setups? Why chase boredom trades? Why put good money after bad? Now, how many of us here traders have followed a chat room, a Twitter, or a friend into an idea that we knew was not a high probability setup for our own trading style? Now, we all have different trading styles here. What works for you may not work for me. Personally, I'm a terrible long bias trader. If and when I ever do go long, I take profits extremely fast, knowing that a lot of times profits can get away from me. I don't have the patience nor the conviction, to hold it. That's why month after month, year after year, I personally get more strict about the trades that I place. I probably place half the amount of trades I did maybe just 5 years ago, but I make way more money. Why? Because I trade the high probability setups that I know I'm going to be profitable at 80 to 90% of the time. I like to use size with those trades, and I have very strict rules when it comes comes to cutting losses. Now, I'm sure most of us as traders have rules, or at least we should. How many of us use stops? I mean, stops are a must. I mean, we all have to use stops. Now, I personally rarely use hard stops, but I have mental stops on every position that I take. Basically, if something's breaking support or resistance, I usually just exit that trade. And I think most of us here need to have a mental idea in our head of where we're going to exit a trade based on where it goes against us. How many of us here have ever been in a losing trade and we're down something small, maybe $5,000, and we think, I'm not going to cut it. I feel like this is going to be a winner, and we add to that trade. An hour later, we're down $20,000 to $30,000. We think, wow, it's hard to, I can't cut it now. We hold it to the afternoon. Tomorrow gaps up. We're down $70,000, $80,000, $100,000, and we think, what the heck just happened? I mean, I could have cut that loss yesterday for $3, $4, $5 grand. Now I've given up 10, maybe 20% of my year just by being stubborn. Think about how much more money we could make at the end of the year if we just stick to some simple rules and cut our losses at an appropriate place. Now, for me personally, I very rarely enter a trade, unless it's with starter size, something really small, unless I know I'm going to be in the money immediately. I ask the question, why would you ever enter a trade knowing it's going to go against you? And you say, well, I'll just add higher. I mean, why would you ever want to do that? I personally like to be right on my first entry. If I'm not, I cut it and I look for a re-entry. The last thing I want to do, again, is be stubborn, refuse to cut a loss, add the losers, and before you know it, you've given up 10, 20, maybe 30% of your year on any particular setup. I see so many traders that can consistently make money month after month after month, only at the end of the year realize they were stubborn on 3 to 4 tickers, and they gave up, maybe 20 to 30% of the year. Now, let's talk about being stubborn for a minute. Why is it that we refuse to cut losses? Is that sometimes we refuse to be wrong? Or has the research we've done on any particular stock made us so overly biased that we think the market is wrong and we are right? Or did we possibly take on too much size overnight on a low float stock that's opened dramatically against us? There's numerous reasons we take losses in the market, and a majority of them are our fault. We can say, well, Drives was manipulated when it went from 5 to 115. Or, KBIO was a fluke when Shirley bought it, went from 2 to, 40s within a couple days. And those are true. I mean, Drives was manipulated, but at the end of the day, nobody forced us to hold Drives, from 40 to 60 to 80 to 100. Nobody forced us to hold KBIO. Some people added after hours. Some people added the next, a few days later. I think at the end of the day, our losses are they're basically our fault. I mean, sure, there can be unexpected news or events, but at the end of the day, I think it's our stubbornness that leads to some of our biggest losses. Now, I personally have a lot of rules in my trading. I've already went over a couple of them. Most of them are just ingrained in my head. I know I'm just like walking, talking, eating, and sleeping. I don't even have to think about them. But I'll go over quick, a couple of my top rules again real quick. I like to trade the best setups out there. So setups that I know I'm going to be profitable on 80 to 90% of the time. And I like to use size setups. I ask a question. If you see a setup and you say, hey, 9 out of 10 times I'm going to make money on this setup, why would you not want to put big money behind that trade? Why would you not want to? I think the risk reward is definitely on your side there. I think, for me personally, the big money is in the big wins. I'm not going to get rich scalping. It's just not for me. And I certainly know I'm not going to lose money on boredom trades because I just don't play them. If the setup's not there, I sit on my hands. If not, I'll just leave for the day. I never feel forced to trade. Second, never, ever add to losing trades. There's a reason the trade is going against you. You're wrong. That's all there is to say. You need to exit that trade and look for re-entry. And don't ever say to yourself, it can't go higher. I mean, it can't go higher or it can't go lower. For anybody that says it can't go higher, put a chart of Drives next to your computer from last November. For anybody that says it can't go lower, put a chart of Drives next to your computer from November 15th to a few weeks ago. It's down 99.99%. There's a prominent hedge fund manager out there a few years ago that was bullish on Valiant. He was bullish in the 200s, bullish at 180, bullish at 150, bullish at 100, bullish at 80, 60, 40, 20. I think he finally sold at $10 or $15. Why? I mean, it's just stubbornness. And that's all it is to it. It's just stubbornness, in my opinion. Third, take profits on winning trades. I always scale out of positions. Let's say I'm short 50,000 shares of a position and it's reached maybe 70% of my target. I like to take at least a third off right there. Always lock some in. Falls another 10, 15, 20 cents. Take another 10, 15,000 shares off, whatever it is. Don't ever try to be so stubborn to try to pick the exact tops or bottoms. Another one is always trade with a free and clear mind. You know, I've noticed that if I don't sleep well, maybe had a traumatic event in your family, whatever it is, it's just best not to trade. And don't ever trade if you feel obligated or forced to make money. You know, if you had a big loss last week, don't ever revenge trade. You know, you really have to have a free and clear mind to trade the markets. The biggest one of all, lastly, is cut losses, cut losses, cut losses. You know, I think as traders, if we can create a good list of rules with strict stop loss management, I think at the end of the day, we can become more profitable traders. Thank you.
What do you think?
That's a great speech.
Good talk, right?
That's great.
Nice to listen to that on definitely a Sunday before you start the markets. Sunday night, obviously.
Every morning.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, everything falls down to discipline, right? I mean, all the videos that you sent in the recently,
Mhm.
they all talk the same thing. It's just discipline.
100%. And that's
Yeah.
all I talk about too. That's all you need. Just sticking to that plan. And most people just deviate from that plan. You know, everyone's guilty of it. I'm guilty of it sometimes. It's a natural tendency for somebody to do something like that. You see a setup that normally you haven't seen before, and you just want to take it. And you got to have that willpower to, you know, stay out of it and only take those trades. That's the one thing that stuck with me with this video. Only take those trades that you're really 90% sure are going to play out. I've heard that before in the past, and I've implemented that in the past, and sometimes you start deviating from it. But, you know, it slowly starts to become a repetitive thing where, you know, you're listening to yourself and you're actually doing that. And that's the key. It gets much easier for you to actually stick to that over time. But yeah, I'll play the other one, like the first 10 minutes of it. But listen to how, like, this guy comes across, like, real harsh, but I do like it. And I mean, people need to hear it.
Well, it's a pretty long day. I'm normally the person who has to speak last, and I know the caffeine's probably wearing off, and sugar's spiked for the day. Anyone's feeling a bit tired?
Looks like we're rejecting this area.
Anyone been
Gio.
smoking weed today? No? Then why on earth would you?
Gio, were you still looking at GJ over here?
Yeah, it looks like I'm not getting the setup that I like.
Yeah. I mean, maybe wait for a close above this area, but you know, after listening to that video, is this something you want to take?
Yeah, I mean, on the higher time frame, it's an uptrend, right? We're in bullish trend, but looking at the 1 hour with all this bearish candle printing, I don't know if I could. Probably a swing trade would be ideal.
Yeah. But like I said, like the safer swing, you still want to wait for here. You don't have to get in at the lower price or the lowest.
Yeah, I'll probably wait for the 4 hour candle to print bullish
Nice.
for a swing.
Yeah. You think the current candle will flip bullish, or you're just waiting for the next one? I mean, this 4 hour candle so far hasn't broken the low of this one, and it's starting to reject a little bit. This is a very weak bearish candle with this candle body. This candle could be ending up doing the same exact thing. We got about an hour and 15 minutes for price to close over here on the 4 hour. So will it flip bullish, or will it close like this, and then the next one has a bottom wick or barely a bottom wick, and then prints bullish? So we'll see. But we are printing higher lows, but we are also consolidating in here. It does look like a little bit of a head and shoulder. So we shall see.
You asked me why I'm going to speak about this. More seriously. That was just to make sure that you're paying attention. Now, the title of this speech is deliberately provocative. we're not particularly interested about why people suck at trading and suck at life. We're more interested in people who don't. So for those of you who don't know me, who am I? My name's Ross Williams. I represent ITPM in Asia Pacific. I live on the east coast of Australia. If I sound a bit dopey, I've been on the road for 2 weeks. I've been through Hong Kong, New York once, Toronto, and more brutally, I've had 4 nights down the road with Anton. So give me some slack for this. So what have I done with my adult life? Well, I started trading Aussie equities back in the early 90s, where I grew up. I moved to London when I was about 22. First proper job at CIBC, I was ostensibly a bond trader or fixed income derivatives. I got hired to go to the Standards to trade junk bonds and CDS. Did that for a couple of years and became a prop trader. Then I went and joined one of the Goldman spin-out hedge funds called Telecom Partners. I was a partner in that. That was a global macro fund. And 2006, 2007 was really quite good. 2008, unmitigated disaster during the financial crisis. Moved back to Sydney, come hang out on the beach for about a year. Tried to become a better surfer. Didn't work. My then wife was sick to death of me being in the house, so I had to go back to do something lucrative. So I went back to UBS. I was a prop trader there, which was great. We were kicked out because of the Volcker rule, which you may have heard of. Very sad day, in my opinion. Anyway, I would say that. And since then, I've done a few things. I've run some money for Millennium, which is a US multi-strategy hedge fund. My business partner in Australia and I have got 5 high net worths that we manage some money for. I do this. I have a small consulting business to commercial banks, and I'm also involved in a preventative healthcare business, which is a startup. So what's this talk about? I'm not Tony Robbins, I'm not a psychologist. I can't delve into the frailties and the strengths of the human mind, but the one edge I do have is that I've been doing this for 22 years and I've met hundreds, if not thousands of people over the course of my career. And hopefully I can impart the things that I've learned from some of them onto you. What I would stress is that there's sometimes a bit of an aura around people who are professionals in the financial markets. And it's true to some extent. There's also some fucking idiots as well, if I'm honest. And luckily for me, I've sort of learnt more from observing their mistakes than I have from people who are successful traders. But I'm here to talk to you about, are there parallels between getting your trading together, i.e. getting your shit together, and hopefully using that to create some success in the rest of your life as well. Because it is important in my view. Quite often I think if you're going to take this seriously, i.e. you're going to turn it into a profitable undertaking as opposed to a hobby, I think definitely one thing can lead to the other. I've seen people that we've mentored through the Institute. Anton's brought up some pretty poignant representations before of some of his students, and it's not a corny thing to say, it's not a cynical thing to say. These people have changed their lives, and they've changed their lives for the better. And with pretty much 100% conviction, I can say they've done it because they've had a good work ethic, and because they've wanted to. Just as importantly, how do you survive? How do you avoid the behavioural traits of people who lose money? How do you stop becoming a lossaholic, as Anton and I quite often say? Well, there's nothing wrong with seeking out profitable people and emulating their strategies. Being a copycat might get you kicked out of university, but it doesn't get you kicked out of the markets. And it's an absolute fallacy for people to think that to succeed in this business, you have to be a genius. I don't consider myself a genius. I've done okay out of it. I've had my ups, I've had my downs. I think that's the same for all the mentors here. But I think the one thing we have in common is we've all had a good work ethic and we've all stuck to it. And we've learned from our mistakes. We haven't over-celebrated our successes, and we've treated this as a business, a consistent and a profitable business. Most people are able to do that. Not everyone, but most people are able to do that. So, who here has lost money trading? Is there truth serum in the water? Normally I get a couple of people stick their hands up. But it's good to see that everyone's on the same page, because I certainly have. We'll probably talk about some personality traits that you can recognise within yourselves. I'm sure that I can I have at times recognized those personality traits in myself. But I think one of the most obvious things to say is that there is no hack. This business is not like becoming a dentist. You don't go to university, learn how to drill teeth, and then hand a license. It doesn't work that way. Education is just opening the door. Work ethic and application is the rest. If you think there's a hack, go do something else. You'll make more money. I promise you. Skeptical traders stay alive, and cynical traders suffer from paralysis. Has anyone in here had the misfortune to work with cynical people? How much longer do they make your day? How much energy do they drain from you with negativity? There is no room for cynicism in this business. You think you can either do it or you cannot. Has anyone here been in a boxing ring? Did you think you were going to lose the fight the minute you stepped in? Probably not. If you're cynical about this business, and we get plenty of cynical people coming to these seminars. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, you know what? You were born 15 years younger than me. Oh, it was great.
It's that victim mindset we talk about.
In the early 2000s. Oh, you know, I'll never have the informational edge that you do. Whatever. There's no excuses. The job's pretty fucking simple. You get a piece of paper every day with a number on the bottom, and your job's to make that number bigger. And it's as simple as that. It's not hard. I'm not saying it's easy to get there, but when you cut all the bullshit, that's what it's about. How do you make more money than you started with? If you think that's too hard, do something else. In all seriousness, do something else. You're wasting your time. Skepticism is...
You guys like this guy?
Yeah, he's interesting.
Right? I like
The
his
knowledge he has, like
What was that?
the knowledge and experience he has is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, all that comes like the main thing that I get from it is the confidence, and the confidence comes from the experience. It comes from the discipline that he's got. But
Yeah.
Not cynicism. It's important to be skeptical. Being skeptical is what keeps people out of pump and dump schemes, bubbles like Bitcoin, and various other stock market frauds and melodious business models which are propagated on people through the financial press. Being skeptical is totally okay. Being cynical is not going to get you anywhere. Worthless opinions, i.e. opinions on shares, for instance, which are... I bought 2 coffees today. I think I better get one Starbucks. Don't waste your time. Do something else. You've got to do the work. An unwillingness to manage risk always ends badly. I don't think I need to expand upon that point. Everybody put their hand up and said they'd lost money at certain points in time. If they can identify why they did that, great. If they can't, I'll identify it for you. It was likely an inability to manage your risk. Learning how to risk manage, I should say, is not the most important part of it. It's not the most difficult job part of this job. Far from it. But if you don't want to do it, once again, do something else. The conscientious trader will always out-earn the lazy genius. That's something I seriously mean. I believe that wholeheartedly. If you have a work ethic, if you want to apply what you know, you will outperform an idle genius. There's not too many things in the world where you can say that. But trust me, I've seen it again and again. I've seen geniuses with no work ethic fail miserably at this business. This is a controversial topic. You're not supposed to talk about IQ sometimes in the Western world because apparently everybody is equal. There's no differences. Okay. We're in the United States. Who knows what the average IQ is in the United States? It's around about here. I'm pretty confident in saying that most people in this room have an IQ of around 100, and there's going to be a bit of a scatterplot either side. The point is, with some education and some application, you can move your 100 to around about here. That puts you on the right tail of the bell curve ahead of most people. The education gets you there. The work ethic and the application moves you further to the right. Everyone knows what a normal distribution looks like? Look at how thin that tail is. If you're in the top 2%, you should be making money. But genetics are not going to get you there, unfortunately. It's going to be education, it's going to be some work ethic. And that is the way of it, frankly. Now, there's some people we can't help. It's the truth. Does anybody think they have an IQ lower than 83? Does anyone here exclusively wear slip-on shoes? Nobody in this room has an IQ of below 83. If you think you do, you probably don't know what IQ means. This is not us making fun of people. The US Army will not hire you with an IQ of less than 83. You go nowhere near live ammunition. So why the fuck should you have a live trading account? Everybody is smart enough to do this who's in this room. Has anyone seen some of Stan Druckenmiller's interviews? I think there's one that just hit the press yesterday. I haven't watched it yet. But has anyone seen that guy speak? Well, first of all, does anyone know who he is? Probably the most successful money manager of all time. Numbers put Warren Buffett in the absolute shade. I'm not talking about Soros, I'm talking about Druckenmiller. But yeah, you're right, he worked for Soros. But more importantly, an incredibly honest, humble, and successful philanthropist who speaks coherently and frankly about his struggles and his wins. I can't remember where he went to college, but it certainly wasn't an Ivy League school. But do you know how he picked the college he went to? Where did he go? Bowdoin? Bowdoin. Do you know why he went there? Because they accept people with low SAT scores. And this guy went on to be the most successful money manager of all time. If you can find his videos on YouTube or elsewhere, I'd highly encourage you to watch.
His name is Stan Druckenmiller. I looked him up before. Yeah, this guy. Do some research on him today.
Watch them. The fact that this guy who's a multi-billionaire, who's had incredible success, who openly declares himself not to be a genius, has succeeded at this business better than anyone else. Admittedly, it's a sample size of one, but it makes a pretty powerful point as well. So if anybody's sitting here today thinking, oh, I'm not really smart enough to take this seriously, you know what, I thought I'd take a look at it, but you know, it's really not for me. I know all these bright people, whatever. Get a different excuse, quite honestly. With a bit of hard work, you can do it. Just whether you want to or not. Losing at trading and losing at life. There's a couple of parallels there. Hopefully, we don't want to. These are things we want to avoid. We know there's no hack, but what is there? There's education and understanding. Plenty of studies have shown that you can move your IQ 15 points to the right with adequate education. There is idea generation, which Anton talks about at length, both in these seminars and on his YouTube videos. Most of that has come from you, admittedly. And then there's the application of those ideas. I can genuinely say from the people I've worked with and the people I've mentored that most people, and some of you who've been in my seminars and have been tired have probably heard me say this 5 times, but I'll say it again anyway. Most people are better at the idea generation process than they think. Most people have ideas. It's in the application of those ideas, i.e.
So I was only going to show like 10 minutes of this, but do you guys want to keep listening to it based on the fact that we're just in ranging markets? And, you know, I just want us to get the most of our time in here. You guys want to keep hearing it?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Cool.
Turning a thought bubble into something that's profitable, that's where they struggle. I was certainly that way. Plenty of people I've known have been certainly that way. Most people have ideas and they can generate them. It's getting that idea from something that sounds intuitively correct to something that will actually put some money in your pocket. Someone before asked, I think it was over here, why do these hedge funds have models and why they have these processes? That's the reason. Turning an idea into some money. That's what we're trying to teach people. And at times, frankly, beating into people. And I said it earlier, but that is what the process allows you to do. A process needs to be consistent and it needs to be repeatable. You need to write things down and turn those ideas into something that you can make money out of. Cynicism. I'm going to make this point again. Madam, can you name me a famous artist? Right. Can you name a famous art critic? Right. Can you name a famous actor? Not in the adult industry. Sure. Can you name a famous film critic? Right. Who knows a wealthy, cynical trader? I've never met one. Remove cynicism from your thought process and remove cynical people from your trading life. They are there to prevent you from making money. They are there to make themselves feel better by dragging you down. There is no room in it. There is no need to be with them. Once again, worthless opinions, opinions which are based upon hunches, coincidences, drunken thoughts perhaps, emotion, worthless. You cannot make money with a worthless decision-making process. You must have a consistent and a repeatable process.
Real quick, I was looking at this trade over here on gold, even before this wick was formed. But as this candle came down, grabbed liquidity, and started, flipping bullish, and it was bullish at this point, and then it created this wick. This candle came down, grabbed liquidity, and flipped bullish. I didn't want to take anything in here. I think safer buys are going to be above this level over here, and this will be the better entry. But this is just something I was looking at, something that you could journal, that you'd be able to take down the road, and you'll be more and more comfortable with this the more you see it. But this is something I was looking at. I just didn't want to point it out to anyone because I didn't want anyone to just kind of jump into a trade like this. I think safer buys are going to be above 1884, but it is a good, would have been a good entry, just more risky.
Which is based upon facts. We rag on technical analysis a bit in this in the institute. I'm fully aware of that. We don't dislike it. We just think it's something that's there to be suspected. I should say respected, because it's many times it's self-fulfilling, but it's not the be-all and end-all. But does anybody here really think that buying a stock because the 50-day moving average has gone through the $200, 200-day moving average is going to make them money? I mean, genuinely? That information that anybody in the world with an internet connection can tell you? Does anyone think they're going to make money with that sort of approach? It's a worthless piece of information, and the only thing you will get from that is a worthless decision. I hope that dispels a few myths. There is no shortcut. It's not an impossible undertaking, but there is no hack. There is a process, and there's the application of that process. What's the big one? What do you think people really, why do you think a lot of people really struggle to make money? Yeah, true, but more specifically. I suffer from it. Sometimes I just can't be fucking bothered. And do you know how much money I make on those days? None. And why should I expect to make any? If you were a chronic procrastinator, you probably wouldn't be here in the first place. If you are, once again, do something else. Do something else, seriously. Go and open a sandwich shop, you'll make more money. Distraction. What are our biggest distractions? Falling in love with potential outcomes and ignoring the pathways. What do you think I mean by that? Oh, look, I don't know what you're into, but he wants to drive a Ferrari and be surrounded by good-looking guys in G-strings or girls. I don't know what you're into. falling in love with a potential outcome and not having the steps in place to get there. Very common. And frankly, it's what a lot of these financial charlatans prey upon when in their advertising and their internet memes and what have you, are driving around with loads of cash and Italian sports cars and what have you. Fine to have hopes and dreams, absolutely no problem. But there's a clear path to get there, i.e. making the number on the bottom of the page bigger every day, every week, every month, every year. The pathway is unavoidable. If you get to the outcomes you want, great, awesome. But that's not what this is about. This is a business. And in the same way that it takes a while to get to where you want to be with any business, it's absolutely true of this business as well. Nobody would go down the street and out the front of a vegetarian.
Looks like we're approaching resistance right up here, 1883, 1880. Yep, 1883 right now. So we got a clean move to the left once we break above. I want a nice clean close above, maybe a wick formed, and then a little retest to come right back up. Everyone looking at the same thing?
Yeah, I'm looking at it, but I want to see the close above on the 50.
Exactly. We can easily get a rejection right here, just like we got over here. But we do have a clean move to the left. So I want to see a nice little retest, candles closing in our direction, and then price continuing up. GJ. Looks like we could end up holding this support over here, but we need a close above 1883, 950 or 925 to continue right back up. But safer buys are going to be above this level up here. GJ's a mess over here, especially on the 15-minute.
Workplace, open an Arby's Meats franchise without doing any work, would they? Yet people are prepared to do stupid things like that with their own money in the stock market every single day. It's amazing. It's amazing why people can't see this as a business, because that's exactly what it is. But anyway, social media, the biggest distraction in most people's lives.
Yep.
I've struggled with it at times. Web surfing. Why do you think people get paid millions of dollars a year to come up with web content which keeps you hooked? It doesn't make you money. Social media is there to be used. Don't let it use you. I think I said before in the panel that I thought Twitter was a fantastic free resource. I use it for work only. I don't use it for personal stuff. That's my business. My point is, it's there to be used. It's not there to use you. And unfortunately, I think many people fall into the trap of using social media, thinking it's going to do something for them. And then 4 hours later, they're looking at pictures of cats on Facebook. It's there to distract you. It's not there to make you money. But if you want to use social media, you can make it work for you. Don't lose the value exchange. Over communicating. I think I received 65 WhatsApp chats most hours. I'm over it, frankly. It's such a time sink and a drain on my ability to make money. It's a distraction that I don't just need. But anyway, removing these distractions from our lives, I think, is probably half the battle at the moment. Analysis is not storytelling. What do we focus on in this business? What do we focus on putting into our process? Numbers. The spreadsheets that Chris Quill was talking about before, were they full of words? They were full of numbers. Jason's examples, numbers. If you're not competent or confident with basic arithmetic, then learn it. It is unavoidable. Stories are great, but there is a quantitative element to this business which you simply can't avoid. You need to get your head around it. It's not that difficult. Awareness. What is a successful trader aware of? Everything to do with the stocks, FX, commodities, currencies are involved with. Develop a bullshit filter. It can be hard. You need to do it. Price is everything. As we said before, information has never been more readily available to the retail trader. Now, a lot of that information might be crap, we know that, but nonetheless, it's still there. The point is, if you want to be willfully ignorant, if you don't like reading, if you don't like accumulating information, honestly, do something else. Don't waste your time. Attention to detail. Who wants to tell me where the S&P traded or closed last night? Unbelievable. No one? Okay. Everyone knows what JP Morgan is. What PE does JP Morgan trade on? 15.1, give or take. When does Netflix report its Q3 earnings? Subscriber numbers. You said that? It's October 16th, isn't it? Right. One person out of 200 and however many knew that Netflix, the biggest streaming company in the world, trading on exchange down the street from here, very popular stock for retail traders. One person in the room knew when they're reporting their third quarter earnings. I think I've made my point. Attention to detail. If you have no desire for attention to detail, once again, do something else. You'll never make money in this business. I think that next point is rather self-evident. A trader with no attention to detail is a gambler. Does anybody know what a post-conditional bet is on the craps table in the casino? It's the only bet in the casino where the house has no edge. And that's why, by the way, that's why the craps table is always buried away at the back, because it's not particularly profitable. You're better off going down there and spending your money playing craps than you are getting into the stock market armed with
15-minute ended up closing above or below resistance over here. So it looked like we were about to break above and we just rejected it, just like we did with these candles over here. So let's see what we do over here. We can continue to consolidate over here and then break up, or are we just going to hold this resistance right over here on the 30? So we shall see. But I do think we're going to break it and then retest these highs up here. Just like you see on the 4-hour, I think we're going to continue to break above this area and continue right back up to 1890.
no education and no toolkit, no calculations. In fact, your odds are probably markedly worse. If you think this is a business based upon chance, do something else, quite honestly. Now, in the same way that we make trading decisions based upon numbers and stats, we should probably run our lives that way to some extent. Do I own or rent a property, or how do I make that decision? Spreadsheet, numbers. What percentage return did I achieve on my capital last month? How do I make that decision? Spreadsheet, numbers. Should I save up and go on my holiday, or should I stay on my credit card and hope for the best? How do I make that decision? Spreadsheet and numbers. Point there. The opposite of being willfully ignorant, it's being curious. A willingness to investigate and do research and to be across the details. Rushian touched on this when he spoke before. He said that there were 3 personality traits which he's found has helped him very well through his career. And by anyone's measure, he is still in the midst of a successful career. Being a perpetual learner. If you think you know it all, I can give you the number of the bankruptcy court for South Manhattan, because that's where you're going to be pretty soon. You will never know anything. You need everything. You need to be a perpetual learner. You need to enjoy the learning process, staying on top of the numbers, learning about the stocks, the commodities, the bonds, whatever. and be willing to learn something every single day. If you can't get your head into that space, do something else. Being skeptical. There's an element of skepticism in this business you need to have. Guess what? Financial rewards for certain people are high, so people are going to tell lies to get what they want and further their own interests. Financial press is full of total bullshit. Everyone knows that. What are you going to fucking complain about it and hope that it changes? Because it's not. It's been that way for hundreds of years and it's not going to change. You need to have a degree of skepticism to work out what's true and what isn't. It's not being cynical, it's being skeptical. Not everything's true. Write a letter to your politician if you don't like that, but I'm telling you, it's not going to change. If you don't enjoy reading, enjoy being unsuccessful. Reading is a huge part of this business. Not everyone is a voracious consumer of financial information. I get that. That's why they invented CNBC. Flashing lights, talking heads, graphics which are similar to a video game, and fuck all content. That's why it's free. If you think that's consuming financial information, think again. With a bit of cajoling, I know people who can get CNBC to talk about whatever the hell they want. Why is that? Right. What's their business model? They want to sell ad swaps. They want people on there who can talk. They want to shout. They want to have wingnuts like Kramer and lots of flashing lights and tickers sliding across the bottom of the screen. I used to wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, when I fall asleep at my desk with CNBC going, I almost have a fucking heart attack when the US equity market opened. I'm in the wrong part of the world, remember, my time zone's all screwed up. There's pretty much zero informational content in that stuff. Develop a bullshit filter, develop a healthy level of skepticism. You'll not only make better use of your time, but you'll avoid a lot of the inherent conflicts in this business. Something you need to do yourself. I can't tell you how to do that. It comes with time and it comes with experience. If you've never had an original thought in your life and you want to be spoon-fed by sell-side research, or indeed your mentor or your best friend who's a broker or whatever, do something else. Otherwise, you'll just be donating money. If you can't enjoy that process and get your head around that process, do something else. What's an aphorism? It's a saying where there's a small element of truth to get a point across. There's plenty of them out there. What is it? Trade the plan and fail to plan and plan to trade, or something like that? What is it again? Right, okay. Do you know the reason I had trouble remembering that? It's fucking meaningless. It's totally fucking meaningless. But it sounds good. And all those phrases are seductive, right? And it's always some old hand who's telling you that stuff to try and make things sound easy and to sort of give people the impression that there's these rules you can learn and you get a little license and then you can get wealth at the end of it. If you like repeating like all these sort of little cliches and buzzwords and phrases that sound good, once again, do something else. Or get a job on CNBC, that actually pays a lot. Critical thinking, what is it? There's a reason I put it in red. It's probably the most undervalued yet valuable skill set in this entire business. I'm not going to read it out to you. You can all read. You can read it yourself. Anybody in here from maths or engineering backgrounds? There's generally quite a few. My competition on the CIBC grad program was a guy who came first in maths at Cambridge. He didn't get a first, he came first. I cannot even hope to be as smart as that guy on my most lucid day in my life, right? But he's been phenomenally successful. And the reason he's been so successful, I think, is quite common amongst people from those I suppose, backgrounds which require a lot of academic rigor and discipline. And I think it's because they view the markets as a series of problems that need to be solved. I think many of us, myself probably included, spent 4 years doing something in finance and something that's vaguely, got a vaguely quantitative element to it. And we think we have a good knowledge foundation. There's not too many gaps that need to be filled. Absolutely not the case. I have people come to me in Australia who've done a fairly common degree down there called the Masters of Applied Finance. Don't ask me what's applied about it because it's a mystery to them as well, mostly. And I'm not denigrating, I'm not denigrating formal education at all.
All right, looks like gold is breaking above resistance. See what we look like in another. Nice. Looked like we were holding resistance over here, and now we're starting to break above on the 5 minute. So I'm just waiting for a close. Gonna get one in 6 minutes. Be nice if the 30-minute closes above, and the 1 hour. I like how the 4 hour looks too. Nice strong bullish candle. Just like we were saying with this candle right over here, where we were probably gonna get something like this. Next candle could be a doji the same way, and then we can continue right back up. You guys like this guy? It's best to make the most of our time, and obviously that's our guest speaker for Monday. Let's see. Nice. So we're creating this high up here. We got to close in 5 minutes. No FOMO right now. Don't let that emotion creep in. You wait. Let that high be created. You embrace that. That's what you want. Let that retest. The higher it goes, I mean, obviously you don't want to, just blasting through, but, the higher it goes in this area over here, the better, because you create that high that we could potentially fill with that New York Stock Exchange open, 8:30 volume, 9 o'clock volume, could take this right back up. So the 5 minute closed above. Let me get this ready.
There's an element of understanding which people really do need to have. But what I would say is it's very difficult for practitioners in traditional educational establishments to impart the knowledge of the real world of trading. And it's not a comment on them or their lack of IQ or academic prowess. It's just the fact they haven't done it. So delve into option theory. If you got problems sleeping, I can recommend some fantastic books on second order derivatives. If you can get through more than about 8 or 9 minutes of that every bed at night, you're doing a lot better than me. But my point is that somewhat quantitative skill set and the desire to apply a critical set of thought to the markets is an invaluable skill set. Not everyone has it, but it's invaluable. You can develop it. I said this before when we were up on the panel. Everyone here's been in high school. If you're doing the thing where you cut up a frog or eating a milliliter of water, whatever, you're always taught to go through the experiment with, you know, in a repeatable and consistent manner. The core of what we're trying to teach people in this business is to have a consistent and a repeatable process. So there's a number of reasons for that. If you sit down cold in the morning, you've got no ideas, you've got nothing. It's your very first day of working out how to trade a stock. Where do you start? You've got to have somewhere to start. If something hasn't worked for you and it hasn't, you've stopped out of it for whatever reason, or it's gone, you know, you're long something that's gone down or short something that's gone up, that didn't happen through chance. Yeah, look, there's a bit of bad luck here and there, but generally it's not the case. But if you have a process which is consistent and repeatable, you should be able to go back, revise the work that you've done, and pinpoint the mistake that you made. That is the point of this. That's the point. That's the point of having some financial education. To stop throwing darts and to know what to do when things go wrong and to deal with difficult situations. Anybody can high five their friends when things are going well when they're winning. That's fine. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of lessons in the winners or the success because people tend to put that down to their own good judgment rather than what's often their own good luck. But there's a hell of a lot of lessons to be learned in losing money. And having the process allows you to go back, hopefully not make that mistake the same time, the same mistake again, but also to pick up some learning from that. And that's why we're such big advocates of having a step-by-step.
Nice strong close. Got a nice strong close above resistance over here. So I'll wait for a little retracement. Wait for the retest over here. And don't just jump into a trade. Just, plan it out and look for candles coming into your direction over here. I love this setup over here. I do believe price can continue up, but be aware of this resistance right here. You very well may have missed it. That's okay too. Gio, how's GJ looking? Nah. Yeah, it's messy. Yeah, GJ has no volume right now. A lot of bullish pressure. Let's see. Kuroda speaking this morning. Got some positive sentiment coming out of Japan. Mostly token remarks and nothing that really stands out too much as he doesn't. Okay. We're starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, this is probably a mistrade on gold. Already retested this high up here, which is perfectly fine. I came into today basically completely content with not taking a trade based on the bank holidays. And if we got something, that would have been bonus. So this honestly would have been the move over here, the one I was pointing out. This bullish candle right here with the bottom wick being formed. This candle flipped bullish, filled the wick, and just continued up. Yeah, that would have been nice. This is something you want to journal. Let's just continue to monitor this.
Unfortunately, nothing teaches a lesson like a losing trade. Most people can probably relate to that. People without a process cannot, because they don't know where they went wrong. They'll put it down to bad luck or nebulous concepts, which are generally wrong. The quantitative side of trading, and I'm talking more about equities in this instance, it's very important to anyone's process, so it's largely the most basic as well. Does anybody here know Python, C++, Advanced VBA? Do you consider that to be an edge? Good. I wish it was, but it's such a commoditized skill these days. And so many people are good at it. And so many people rise to the top of that profession. I think it's probably the most difficult part of that. I think quantitative finance is probably the most difficult discipline in this industry to succeed in. There's just so many good people out there now. If you want to compete against these Harvard PhDs who've got quantum physics on their CV, be my guest. Hope it works out for you. Reality is it probably won't. So the point I'm trying to make is that the quantitative side of it is important, but the quantitative side of it is generally, well, over time will actually become the simplest part of what you do. Bit of getting over the hump, bit of practice and repetition, PE, ZPS surprise, price to book value, relative strength on pairs, etc., etc. It sounds quite complex, but after a while it becomes second nature. But a lot of people can do that stuff. So technical analysis, nothing wrong with it. Just everyone can do it. If everyone can do it, how can you outcompete them? I think the basic quant of equity trading is probably, sadly, quite similar. Does this pass the pub test? Maybe that's a bit too much of an Australian saying there. Maybe I could have put that in better context for North America. But if you got some bullshit artist in the bar telling you that he's just bought himself a new Ferrari and he's wearing a pair of flip-flops, does it pass the pub test? Same in the stock market. There's a certain element of common sense which you'll develop over time, but sometimes takes some people longer to get there than others. Risk management, avoiding losses and avoiding mistakes. Having a process, in other words. Risk management is not about avoiding risks. It's not about avoiding risks, it's about taking calculated risks. Paradoxically, the biggest risk is never taking a risk in the first place. I think plenty of people could probably, I see a few nodding heads, I think some people can relate to that. I'm not trying to get all deep and meaningful, but it's pretty easy to go through life sitting there doing fuck all. That's a huge risk because your outcome is pretty much known from day one. Knowledge is the ultimate risk management. Once again, the point of it is you know what to do when things go wrong. The process, again and again, you're going like, why is this crazy fucker from the other side of the world banging on about the process so much? Because it's the truth. Without a process, you're throwing darts, you're flipping coins. This whole thing is designed to get the odds in your favor. It's not a game of chance. It's a game of analysis and a game of hard work. The trader with no process is like the blind squirrel who occasionally finds a nut. That's the best analogy that Anton and I could come up with when we're thinking about this presentation. Demo accounts. I didn't realize they existed until a couple of years ago. Don't understand it. Frankly, didn't want to talk about it. You can't pay your bills using a demo account. People need to understand the emotional reactions that come with winning and losing money. Even if it's a very small amount of money, even if it's $50 or $200, at least you can go down to the bar and buy your friend a drink and talk about it. Demo accounts, what's the fucking point? It's just another procrastination tool or a distraction. Literally worthless. Cannot see any point. It seems like an incredibly popular undertaking for people. I don't get it. I just don't get it. If anyone wants to explain to me the veracity of afterwards, I'm open-minded to it. I just can't get it. Once again, numbers don't get happy, sad, or angry. Focus on them. Before you delve into the story, and there's always a story, focus on the numbers. What are the common traits of the emotional and the subjective trader? Now, unfortunately, I think people in the room are going to see these traits in themselves. But if you can see these traits in yourself, deep down, you know that you need to eradicate them. If you can't see these traits in yourself, you either don't have them, which is great, or there's something fucking wrong with you, and you should probably go and do something else. People who cannot be bothered to objectively expand their knowledge. Plenty of people like that. People love being willfully ignorant. People don't want to know the truth. Doesn't work. Wedded to certain ideas, despite these ideas being demonstrably wrong. How many people have been telling you to buy gold for the last 8 years when it's been in a grinding, painful, death by 1,000 cuts bear market? Why can they not accept they're wrong? I don't know. They're fucking wrong. Get over it. Some people blindly do not want to accept the fact that they're losing money when they're losing money. If you see this trait in yourself, get rid of it. Eradicate it.
Yeah, look at the date of this video. March 12th, 2020. This is right before shit hit the fan. Like, shit was about to hit the fan with COVID right after this. That's crazy.
It's a fucking express train to the poorhouse, and it's surprisingly common. Unable to accept criticism and hostile to new ideas. Hopefully you're not one of those people. Confirmation bias. Isn't it great when you own a stock that's going up and every bit of news flow is positive on that stock? Does it give you a deep, warm feeling inside? Of course it does. It doesn't really get you anywhere. As Raj said before, you're almost better off reading research when it contradicts your own view. There's information in that. Confirmation bias is extremely dangerous. And by the way, I think many professional investors, or the ones I've come across, suffer from this more so than retail people because they think they're very smart. And there's a certain character trait a lot of people on the buyer side get.
So gold over here looks like we're retracing. We created this high, retested the previous resistance over here. Now we're starting to come right back down to this previous resistance. So are we going to hold support, and are we going to get a 15-minute candle closing in our direction, maybe with a wick to fill? If that's the case, then 9 o'clock, 9:15 a.m. volume, we could come right back up to retest that high. But just be aware of that because we do have this resistance over here. Price is printing lower lows over here, or lower highs, kind of like that. So you just want to be careful of if this was the actual retest, and then price is going to continue to consolidate in here. Remember, it's only Monday. Just wait for what you're waiting for. Basically, I know that sounds very simple, but you know what I'm talking about. Just wait for that support to be formed and wait for candles to close in your direction and the setup that's in your trading plan and the setup that you always look for. Don't take anything stupid. You know what I'm saying?
When you have stockbrokers that call you up every day and tell you how good they are, all they're really doing is indulging in confirmation bias every day, and people get totally, utterly in love with that. It's dangerous. If you see this personality trait in yourself, eradicate it. Save yourself some money. Being in denial of people's own profitability, same thing. Unwilling to accept that things have changed. What is a market? What's a definition of a market? I mean, there's many, but can someone give me a concise definition? I heard a really
market.
good one the other day. It's the money-weighted sum of people's expectations. Once again, it's the money-weighted sum of people's expectations. Now, there's thousands of people in the stock market every day. There's 100 different mandates every day. There's technology changes on a constant basis. There's changes in the speed of communication, and there's changes in the performance of that company themselves. New entrants, new exits. How is it possible, logically, that a market won't change over time? It has to. It has to. People love, like, oh, the rules still apply. Back in 1920, the rules still applied, and it's the same thing now every day, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's some truth to that. What's another one that comes up with the financial? Oh, yeah, I have this one. It's the 4 most expensive words in history. This time it's different. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? It's different every fucking day. How can it not be? You know, and Anton talks about his inversion narrative quite often, right? There's all these aphorisms and this crap that gets in the way. Markets continually evolve, continually. If you can't accept that, once again, go to something else. You'll make more money. So, what are the common traits of reasonable and objective people who, in my experience, tend to make more money? Willing to discuss both sides of the argument. Well, you know, I've been long gold for 6 years. It's been going down. Have you ever considered? No, I don't want to fucking hear about it. If you can't listen to both sides of the argument, you're destined to fail. Adaptability, accepting that things change, accepting that you will make mistakes. Markets tend not to treat perfectionists very well. It's great to have a high winning percentage. It's great to be good at what you do, but if you're a perfectionist, the reality is you probably need to get over that to some extent because you're going to make mistakes. I've made more than I can count. And most professional investors who want to tell the truth will tell you the same thing. The importance is I know when to cut those things quickly. But there's going to be mistakes. The point is you don't make the same mistake more than once, hopefully, although I have. Profitability speaks for itself. Skin in the game. Real after-tax interest rates in the US around about 0%. Does anybody in here think with a bit of tuition, a bit of time, and a bit of application, they can beat an annual return of 0.25 of 1%? I fucking hope so. In my opinion, not being involved is simply too high of an opportunity cost to consider. $100,000 at a real interest rate of 0.25% earns you $250 a year on deposit. That is financial repression. That's the point. It's designed to get you to go and do something else.
What do we have here? Looks like we closed back into the range on the 15-minute, whatever here. So could continue to range. Like I said, it's Monday, so don't be upset or anything if you miss any trades or, you know, you didn't lose anything. So GJ is doing what we said, where this current 4-hour candle just flipped bullish over here. So it looks like we're holding this support right here. Just a very, very messy range. How's everyone doing?
Falling asleep with this market.
What was that?
Falling asleep.
You going to sleep?
Falling asleep with this low volume
I know. It's
market.
imagine trading alone like every single day. I couldn't imagine doing that. Like obviously it started with Raquel and everything, but you know, not having this or any kind of like live, you know, trading just to kind of like chill with people. It doesn't, you know, it could even be with just like a friend that you just are zooming together and trading together. I couldn't imagine just doing it by myself. It's so lonely.
Yeah, it's so lonely.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like GJ is starting to come up, but again, I would be cautious. I know we're kind of in an uptrend over here, but I would wait for price to kind of close above 154, 150 before price continues right back up to fill this wick up here. But 1 hour does look like could potentially be a head and shoulders, but we would have to close below this area for that to be the case. But it looks like we keep rejecting the bullish trend that Gio was pointing out right over here. Yeah, gold is just basically rangy in here. This was the move, but other than that, nothing much. But with that, I'm about to head off. I got a ton to do, but I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Let's keep the chat going in Slack. If you guys need anything, let me know. And let me know how you like that video. Did you like it? Both of them?
Yeah.
Do you guys like doing that? Like if I obviously find some of these things and you know, I'm the type of person that really likes to learn. Obviously I love to read, but I'm a more visual audio listener. Like I'd rather watch a video or listen to somebody speak or listen to a book or anything like that for me to learn like optimally. Some people like to read instead, but I like the video. So if I find anything else, I'll definitely be playing some of these things, and we'll get our virtual guests in here that don't even know they're guests, and you guys can learn some more from these institutional traders, these people that have been doing it for a long time, some of the greats. And I'm going to do some research on this Stan Druckenmiller to see, you know, what he's all about. I've actually never heard of him. He used to work for Soros, and I guess he went independent after that. So I'm going to do some research on him, let you know what I find.
Yeah, just throw them in there. I mean, I just
Yep.
finished the other one you sent, that Tom Hugard thing.
Tom?
Yeah, that one's
He
actually
part
pretty good.
series.
Yeah,
Oh, the series, yes. Right up
yeah,
here. This guy.
yeah. I just finished part 7 of that.
You like this one?
Yeah, that one's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a lot of these guys are very egotistical, right? I guess if you're making that much money, it's like you look at everyone else like, what are you doing? Like why aren't you doing the same exact thing? Why aren't you putting the same work in? You know, and that starts to feed off, but kind of got to control that. You got to curb that ego because that'll only kill you in the market at some point. This guy's risk management is insane. Like he'll have a winning trade and double down on that winning trade every single time. He's nuts. But yeah, like I said, guys, have a great day. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. And if you need anything, let me know.
All right, brother.
All right,
Talk
boys.
to you later then.
Take care, guys. See you tomorrow.
Pleasure. Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
Yep.
See you, man.